Hi everyone! Welcome to another Getting Started with Canvas screencast. This time I'm going to review some of the ways in which 4 of Canvas's tools work together to help streamline your course development process. These 4 tools are the calendar, assignments, the gradebook, and the syllabus. These 4 tools are all linked together in such a way that if you change something using one of them, like changing the date of an assignment, for example, your action tells Canvas to make updates throughout the course and to notify students about the change. When you understand how these tools work together, you'll be better able to leverage them in a way that can make your course development and class administrative tasks easier. Taking advantage of the way these tools work together will help you maintain consistency and good communication with your students. Let me explain with an example. When I first sit down to build a course in Canvas, I begin with a syllabus and a class schedule. When I'm just getting started, I focus on the flow of the course activity, especially the schedule of assignments. Even if I have none of my lectures or assignments finished, if I have a complete course outline or a schedule and a good knowledge of Canvas's tools, I can set up the basic structure of the entire course in Canvas in one sitting. I'll begin with Canvas's calendar. I want to add all of my events and assignments to the calendar. This will allow me to double-check the overall flow of course assignments and activities throughout the term. To demonstrate, I'll start by adding an event. I'll enter the event of the first day of class. While I can enter a lot of information about any event, at this point I'm only interested in creating the overall structure of the course. So for now, all I need is the most basic information. So I'll enter class begins. I'll also add the time when class begins and the location of our class meeting. And I'll double check to be sure that the event will go to the correct course calendar. Now, I'll start creating assignment placeholders based on my assignment schedule. In the first week, I have an in-class writing assignment, and a reading assignment, and during the second week, I have a reading quiz, and essay number 1's rough draft will be due. Now I can proceed this way through my entire schedule and add all of my event and assignment placeholders for the full term to the calendar. Because Canvas's tools are connected, while I'm doing this work in the calendar, Canvas is doing additional work for me behind the scenes. As a result of my work in the calendar, Canvas has also created all of my assignments. If I go to Assignments, I can see that Canvas has generated the actual assignments for every assignment I entered on the calendar. If I open one of them, I see that I have the title and the date the assignment is due. I can fill in all of the details of the assignment at any time. I may know at this point, for example, that this assignment is worth 10 points. At the same time, Canvas has taken all of the event and assignment information and created a dynamic schedule as part of the syllabus. Let's take a look at that. I'll open the Syllabus tool, and I see here that I have a space at the top of the page for my course policies and other course information. And then below that, Canvas has generated a dynamic schedule based on everything I added to the calendar. Note that the schedule is dynamic because if you make a change to an event or an assignment anywhere in the course, Canvas will automatically update this schedule to reflect that change. So the great thing here is that if you use Canvas's calendar and the assignments tool to keep track of all your due dates and event dates, your students will always be on the same page with you about what things are happening and when assignments are due. If you make changes in Canvas, then you no longer have to worry about printing and reprinting your course schedule, and you don't have to worry about making sure that students get the information. Now, let me introduce you to how Canvas's assignment tool works with the gradebook. First, I want you to see that when Canvas created the assignments for you, the system also started building your gradebook. Now, I know that Canvas has done this work, but if you go to the gradebook for the first time after doing what I did, then you're likely to see that nothing is in the gradebook yet. Even though Canvas created your assignments, those assignments aren't yet in the gradebook. Why is that? The reason for this is that all assignments by default are not published, and assignments won't show up in the gradebook until you publish them. So let's publish these assignments. When assignments aren't published, you'll see a gray cloud next to them. To publish them, you click on the gray cloud, which turns it green, indicating that it's now published. And now that your assignments are published, let's take another look at the gradebook. You'll see now that all of the assignments you created using the calendar are now showing up in the gradebook. In this screencast, I won't go into detail about all of the many ways that assignments and the gradebook work together. For our purposes, just getting started, it's enough to know that many of the things you do with the assignment settings will be reflected in the gradebook. When discussing how these tools are connected, it's really important to note up front that you can't create a gradebook column without creating an assignment. You may be thinking that you want to grade something other than an assignment, like class participation. While it may seem strange at first, because the tools are connected, you will need to create an assignment for these things. But you don't have to use that assignment with students. You only need to create it so that you get the column. Let me demonstrate. I'll add a new assignment called Participation. I'll make it worth 100 points, and I'll make sure that students don't have to submit anything. By default, students will see that they're going to get a participation grade worth 100 points, but they won't be asked to submit anything. If you don't set a due date, students won't get notified that student participation is due. So that's how you create a gradebook column using the assignment tool. Not only can you create a gradebook column without technically creating an assignment that you'll use, but it's also important to know that you can create an assignment without creating a gradebook column. Let's say you want to use the assignment tool to alert students to a reading assignment, for example, but you don't want to give students a grade for doing their reading. Let me show you how I would handle this. I'll go to the reading assignment I created through the calendar. I can get there through the gradebook. Notice here in the assignment that by default, Canvas is set up to grade assignments and to display students' grades in points. You can see this in the setting called Display Grade As. You'll also see here that you have other options for how students' grades are displayed, and one of those options is Not Graded. So I'll select Not Graded. I'll save my changes and go back to the gradebook. Now I see that Canvas has removed the reading assignment column from the gradebook. This means that you can use the assignment tool to alert students to activities, things you want them to do, and the dates you want them to complete those activities. In closing, many of the tools in Canvas are cross-functionally connected, and these connections are designed to make your work, setting up your class, scheduling due dates, updating assignments and dates, grading work, and communicating with students just a little bit easier.